but have put themselves a little more in a tough spot.
Rushes on, and it's a downfield hit to Higgins, but he's short.
All right, it's 4th and 2. You're not in a bad spot here by any means, even if you didn't get the first down. The Colts aren't taking a timeout, which makes sense, because if they do, and you go for it and you get it, you're going to get 3 points and get into pretty easy field goal range. So the clock is in your control at this point. All you have to do is take it down to about 8 seconds, call the timeout, then go for it, get the first down, and then kick the field goal and go up by 7 points. And so far, this man right here, DeMeco Ryans, is playing this perfectly. Take that clock down. Take that clock all the way down. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now stop the clock. Now stop the clock. Okay, DeMeco, that's enough. You can stop the clock now. DeMeco Ryans, stop the clock. Just stop the clock. Just stop the freaking clock.
They're just going to have Kaimi kick a long field goal here.
Their third and final, 30 seconds.
So, yeah, that happened. Now you only have 2 seconds left, so you can't even kick the field goal because you're too far away, and you can't even try to get the first down to get closer. So now, you need to try a Hail Mary. You did all of that so that you could get a Hail Mary opportunity with no time left. I've got nothing, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Ryans knows what he's doing, and this is about to be the greatest Hail Mary attempt in NFL history.
Stroud steps up, and Stroud is going to chuck it downfield. It is knocked down.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something look awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of Houston Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans. I know that the Texans, if the season ended today, are out of the playoff picture. With how stacked the AFC is, and with how poorly they started the year off, I know that the Texans have some work to do in order to play January football. Having said that, this team might legitimately be the best team in the AFC. That defense is stacked, and if the offense is even semi-competent and doesn't make mistakes, I'm not sure who in that conference can beat them. It would not shock me if this team is representing the conference in the Super Bowl when all is said and done. But if anything is going to hold them back, it's going to be this man right here. It's going to be DeMeco Ryans, who over his last 2 seasons has had some, shall we say, interesting moments when it comes to properly managing a game. And I know the Texans ended up winning this one, but to say they dodged a bullet would be putting it lightly, because I have no idea what the game plan was here. When J.J. Watt is even calling you out and saying that he doesn't understand the strategy, that's when you know you messed up. So with that being said, let's take a look at why letting the clock run down to 2 seconds and calling a Hail Mary is a really bad idea. And before I go any further, I actually completely get the strategy by Ryans earlier in the 2-minute drill to not go quickly. You're getting the ball to start the second half, and you don't want to give the Colts, who have 3 timeouts, enough time to drive down the field and get points themselves. You've got the lead going into the halftime break. You have a chance to double dip, and as long as you walk away with 3 on this drive, with a chance to make it a 2-score game out of the halftime break, that's a win. So this is just focusing on what happened at the end of the drive, and not the overall strategy and game plan on the drive. After this 3rd down play, you have the ball at the 47-yard line of the Colts. Obviously, your kicker cannot reach from 65 yards out, and you know that. You watch pregame warm-ups, and your kicker will always tell you his target line. If he can't hit past a certain point, then you're not trying it, because number one, you know it won't be successful, so there's no point in calling a play that can't possibly work. Number 2, your kicker can get injured pulling something. Number 3, your kicker's psychology can be messed up. And number 4, it can result in a touchdown the other way, because if it misses short, you can allow a huge return. especially since the return man is fast, and all the guys on the line blocking for you on the field goal try are not fast. If Fairbairn can't reach from the 47-yard line, then he can't reach from the 47-yard line. It's as simple as that. However, Fairbairn is one of the best kickers in football, and I'm assuming he could reach if you get, let's say, another 5 yards. He made a 61-yarder at one point in his career. He hit from 57 earlier this season. He hit a 59-yarder last season. It's in a dome, so the wind isn't an issue in any way whatsoever. If you get 5 more yards, you're going to be able to try a field goal and make it a 13-6 game. At the very least, even if the kick is no good, it won't be for lack of distance. And I know it's 4th down, so you have to be extremely careful when it comes to the clock. If you call a timeout right away with 20 seconds left, and then you went for it on 4th down and missed, the Colts would have 3 timeouts and about 15 seconds left to get roughly 10 yards to get into field goal range themselves. So of course, you don't want to call the timeout right away. No one's arguing that. The risk just isn't worth the reward there. But what happens if you let the clock run down and call the timeout with 8 seconds left? What is the possible harm in that if you're this man right here in Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans? Let's evaluate the risk and reward of calling a timeout with 8 seconds left. If you don't get the first down and get out of bounds, which again, it's 4th and 2, so you only need 2 yards to get the first and about 5 yards to get into field goal range. So if you don't get that short game, while it sucks, it's not like the Colts have time to do anything. You figure such a play will take 5 or 6 seconds off the clock, giving the Colts 2 or 3 seconds to work with inside their own territory. Daniel Jones is the quarterback on the opposite side of the field. He is injured. Not that the man is good at throwing Hail Marys anyways, but he's not exactly known for his arm strength when fully healthy, let alone when he's clearly banged up. This is not a guy like Aaron Rodgers or Josh Allen that we're talking about here. If the Colts get the ball back at their own 47-yard line with 2 or 3 seconds left, what are the odds that Daniel freaking Jones, at 50% health, if it's even that high, is going to launch a pass into the end zone and have it be caught for the Hail Mary? I'd say the odds are basically non-existent. I have a better chance at having a wallet fall from the sky with $1 million inside of it than Daniel Jones had at completing a Hail Mary under these circumstances. It's already a low percentage play, and it becomes an even lower percentage play when you factor in everything else. This is all to say that if you call a timeout with 8 seconds left and the Colts do get back with 2 or 3 seconds, they're not scoring. The worst case scenario is that it's going to be 10-6 at the half, which is exactly what it is right now. If you call the timeout with 20 seconds left and don't get it, then yes, the Colts have 15 seconds left and can get into range by getting a couple of yards on a slant or an out route or a hitch. But with 2 or 3 seconds left, nope. They have one play and one play only to do this, and they're not doing it, especially against your defense, especially when all you have to do is guard the end zone. However, if you get the first down and get about 4 or 5 yards, now you can kick the field goal. Now you're entirely within Fairbairn's range, and you can make it a 13-6 game and double dip coming out of the halftime break since you get the ball. So what's more likely if you're DeMeco Ryans? Getting 4 yards and having your kicker, who's basically automatic, hit a field goal in his range? Or not getting 4 yards and then having an injured Daniel Jones launch a Hail Mary? If you think the second one is more likely, then you have no idea of how in-game management works and how football works. You have no understanding of that concept. However, the head coach of the Houston Texans, DeMeco Ryans, chose the second option. He coached scared out of his mind and decided that he didn't want to risk giving the Colts the ball back. So he decided that he was going to wait until the last second to call a timeout so that his quarterback could throw up a Hail Mary, which, to the shock of absolutely no one, fell incomplete. Ryans bypassed a chance of 3 points for no reason whatsoever. I know in the fourth quarter, he went for it on 4th and 1 in a 4-point game instead of kicking it to make it a 7-point game. I understand the decision to bypass 3 points there so that you can kill more clock, and so that if you did get it, you had a chance at eventually scoring a touchdown to make it a 2-score game and put it out of reach. But to bypass 3 points here, in this spot, because you either grossly overestimate the abilities that Daniel Jones has at reaching the end zone, grossly overestimate the abilities that CJ Stroud has at completing a Hail Mary, or grossly underestimate your offense and its abilities to get a couple of yards? Seriously, just think about that for a second. By calling this sequence, DeMeco Ryans showed that he had absolutely no faith in his offense to get 4 yards, but he had faith in them to get 47 yards. How does that make sense? That's like refusing to drop a play in basketball out of bounds to get a 2-pointer because you have no faith that they'll get a good look. So you drop a play where the ball goes into the backcourt and your player launches a 55-foot shot. That's like having no faith in your singing abilities to be able to successfully pull off Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter at karaoke. So you decide to sign up for a freaking Whitney Houston song. The logic doesn't make sense. I don't think I need to tell you that the odds are in your favor to get 4 yards and get out of bounds when the Colts need to cover everything. But the odds are in no way whatsoever in your favor to get a 47-yard Hail Mary when everyone on the Colts is playing back and knows they can allow anything short and in the middle of the field. The logic is just contradictory in every way. For some reason, no one, not one person, asked DeMeco Ryans about the clock management at the end of the first half. I don't know why no one asked him the question, because it was a pretty big deal, and even the broadcast team was calling it out, which, on a completely unrelated note, it's time for Ian Eagle and J.J. Watt to become the #1 pairing on CBS, because they cleared Jim Nantz and Tony Romo at this point, and it's not even close. So I guess we'll never know the answer to why this man right here decided not to take a really good chance at 3 points. I guess we'll never know why he was scared of Daniel Jones throwing a Hail Mary and thought that his best chance of getting points before the halftime break was to have his quarterback chuck up a Hail Mary when he absolutely did not have to. It will be one of life's biggest mysteries as we head into the final month of the year. Whatever the case, this decision was nonsensical and seems to only make sense to one person and one person only. And that person happens to be the man who called it. So what did we learn from all of this? If you have a realistic chance to score points, and it comes at no risk whatsoever to you in terms of allowing points, then do it, especially in a tight divisional game like this one. If you have 2 options, and one option is to get 4 yards with the defense having to cover the entire field, and the other option is to get 47 yards with a defense only having to cover one portion of the field, then take the first option. If you think a Hail Mary is a high percentage play, then you need to reevaluate everything you know about this sport, especially if you're scared about a Hail Mary coming from an injured quarterback on his own side of the 50. And if you don't know how to manage a clock, don't be surprised if you don't end up playing meaningful football when the season comes to an end. Because when all these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Check out our live streaming schedule for the next few days. We're live every single day on this channel, whether we're covering a sporting event or playing GeoGuessr or just taking your requests. So make sure you like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single time that we go live and so that you can join this community. Also, thanks to all our members and our Patreon supporters who get exclusive perks like their name at the end of each video, members-only Q&A streams, and cool emojis to use on videos and during streams. See how you can join this community and become a member or a Patreon member by clicking the link in the description below.